Reggie, that's not so good. Like Zoink School, you're right. We can send you a video game. I'd like to see you try beating me at all the levels in this game. Hey guys, it's me, the media guy. I'm sorry about that. I tried my best to do a good Phantom Virus impression, but I guess it sounds bad. And I can't blame a guy. You can't blame a guy like me for trying. Well, anyways, today I'm here to share my thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, the fourth direct-to-video movie in a series of direct-to-video films. Scooby-Doo and the gang face their most electrifying adventure when they are zapped into a high-tech computer game in this all-new movie. When Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Inc. gang try to capture the Phantom Virus, they are accidentally transported into a video game based on their own Mystery Inc. adventures. We're pursuing the Phantom Virus through the game's 10 outrageous levels. The gang travels from the prehistoric past to the space-age future, and even tangles with a hair-raising horde of virtual villains from their most famous capers. I know it's referring to the Creeper, Jaguaro, Old Iron Face, the Tar Monster, and the Gato Ghoul. This is one enjoyable Scooby-Doo movie for all fans. And even though some might say it's not like their favorite, I can actually have a lot of fun with this movie. There are so many action-packed scenes in this movie that it almost feels like you're playing a video game, which I'm guessing that's technically the whole point of this movie. It's mostly video game based, which is pretty rare in this type of day and age. I mean, sure, there was Scooby-Doo Mask of the Blue Falcon that was comic book themed. And there was Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold, and Scooby-Doo and Crypto too, where those were superhero based movies. And of course, there's Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King, Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo, and Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo that was related to Halloween. But anyways, I'm starting to get off topic here. Like I'm trying to say, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase is one of the most interesting movies ever. Because they had to face the most terrifying villain of them all, the Phantom Virus. And oh boy, is this guy so terrifying. I mean, he's kind of like the 10,000 volt ghost, but only creepier. And I know it's kind of weird for me to compare him to the 10,000 volt ghost, but it's true. I mean, he could give the 10,000 volt ghost a run for his money, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there are so many things to like about this movie. Like the idea of having the gang. Sorry about that. The idea of having the gang being trapped in a video game is pretty brilliant when you think about it. Mystery Inc. going through all 10 levels while trying to find a box of Scooby snacks, while trying to handle off the Phantom Virus. And along the way, they find some interesting clues that's mostly related to baseball. And I'm probably not going to give away who the actual culprit is, or the mastermind who made the Phantom Virus, because I assume that you guys don't like spoilers. But if you guys have watched this movie countless times already, or at least saw so many people talk about this movie, like JB and Millie and Ashton Hardy, then you would probably have an idea of who really created the Phantom Virus. There's a part that I like about. There's another thing I like about this movie. I already mentioned the idea of having this be like a video game and the Phantom Virus. And I already mentioned the old school villains that showed up in this movie later on. Another thing I like about this movie is that when they get to the malt shop in the 10th and during the 10th level, after encountering the Phantom Virus for like the millionth time, they run inside the malt shop to find out, to discover that they just encountered their cyber doubles, Cyber Fred, Velma, Daphne, Shaggy, and Scooby-Doo. And what's funny is that Cyber Fred, Cyber Daphne, and Cyber Velma were wearing the old school Scooby-Doo Where Are You outfits, while Cyber Shaggy is wearing his red shirt and blue pants. Which I suppose that's meant to be like a reference to the time Shaggy wore a red shirt and blue pants in the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, and Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. And it was even referenced twice in Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost, which was mentioned by Flim Flam, and it was also referenced halfway through Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island. And I think there was an episode of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who called A Fashion Nightmare featuring Tim Gunn. And I think Shaggy's red shirt was also referenced in that episode. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. It was kind of funny to see the gang meet their cyber counterparts. It's also kind of funny to see Cyber Scooby wear a red collar. Although, if you look at some of the other Scooby-Doo shows and movies that came out before this one, there was never an instance where Scooby wore a red collar at all. I mean, I can understand Shaggy's. I get that Cyber Shaggy wore a red shirt and blue pants, since there were times where real Shaggy did wear that outfit. But I don't think there was ever a Scooby-Doo movie or TV show to have Scooby-Doo wear a red collar. Now, to be fair, that probably would have made sense if Scooby-Doo did wear a red collar in the aforementioned 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo series, or the made-for-TV movies that I mentioned, Boo Brothers, Ghoul School, and Reluctant Werewolf. But I'm not gonna make a big fuss about that, because I assume that's just a minor detail, and it's probably not a big deal anyway. I will admit that some of the songs are pretty enjoyable. Like, we actually get to hear another rendition of the Scooby-Doo Where Are You theme song, sung by the B-52s. And that's probably not the first time that they were involved with a Hanna-Barbera related movie. Because I remember that they did like a rendition of the Flintstones theme song during the end credits of the live-action Flintstones movie that came out 7 years earlier in 1994. And of course, that's also Hello Cyber Dream, Hello Cyber Dream. And it is pretty neat seeing the gang try their best to handle the Phantom Virus and some of their old foes. And I'm glad that the Cyber Gang tried their best to help the real Scooby and the gang. Now, I assume that most of you probably know this, but just in case you haven't, this is actually the first Scooby-Doo movie to have Grey Delisle Griffin to be the voice of Daphne Blake for the first time. I'm not gonna lie, she did a pretty good job. And I guess some of you probably know this, but This was also the last Scooby-Doo related project to have any involvement. I mean, this was probably the last Scooby-Doo project to have any involvement of William Bill Hanna, who sadly died sometime around the film's production. And I'm glad that the filmmakers wanted to dedicate this movie to William Hanna, because since he and Joe Barbera did work on Scooby-Doo, as well as other Hanna-Barbera shows like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, The Flintstones, Johnny Quest, The Jetsons, Goober and the Ghost Chasers, Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles, The Herculoids, Space Ghost, Speed Buggy, Jabberjaw, Josie and the Pussycats, The Hair Bear Bunch, Wacky Races, and so many more that I could name off right now, but we would be here all day. This is also the last Scooby-Doo movie to have Scott Innes do the voice of both Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. But don't worry, he did continue to voice the characters in some of the Scooby-Doo video games, like Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, and Scooby-Doo and what was it? I'm having trouble naming the other Scooby-Doo video games, but you guys know what I mean. But don't worry, he was still involved with the franchise since a year later, Scott Innes would voice Scrappy-Doo in the live-action movie. So yeah, those are some of the things I had to bring up because even though some of you guys already knew all that, this is for all the newcomers who probably didn't know any of this until now. And you know, it's pretty cool that we get to see a Scooby-Doo related movie that's mostly focused on a video game. And it's also kind of ironic how it's kind of funny how there was also a video game that was somewhat based on this movie, and it was called, well, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Ironic, right? So yeah, thank you guys for watching this movie, and Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase is still one of the most interesting movies I've ever seen in my life. It makes you want to play a Scooby-Doo video game. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really much of a gamer, to be honest. But you know what? I'm not gonna make a big deal of all of that. So Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase is a great movie, and I'll give this movie 5 game controllers out of 5. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. A game on! Well, make sure you guys watch out for the Phantom Virus. Oh boy.